Okay, can we swim? Moment of truth, everyone. If we can swim, this is game of the year. Come on. No!
I've been playing this Elden Ring game and it's been pretty fun. Like, there's been many deaths. Like, the tree, that dude, when you first start out, that's just riding the horse, he was spanking me around for a few times, but you realize, all right, maybe you got to live to fight another day. And then on that second day, I went for the dragon. So, this game doesn't really, it doesn't really give you much in the way of survival. But that's on the onset. Once you actually get into the game and not just start boss rushing, you can see this open area where it's a lot going on. Sometimes there's too much going on. Like, there'll be times where you get to a certain point in the map and there's nothing there. And you're just like, well, that was a waste of time. Not an enemy, not an item, not anything, not a view, just space. So with these open world games, and this is like any open world game, sometimes because the world is open, they think that means it needs space, but you can have a condensed open world and still have a good experience. Like, I recently been playing that Pokemon Legends Arceus game is another example where they're zones, but in those zones, it still feels like enough of a map to where you're not feeling overwhelmed and tired. Now, the Arceus game did do a lot of stat padding towards the end, in the sense of they just kept putting the same Pokemon in each region. So although the zones were, in a nice size, there wasn't enough, Pokemon variety once you start to get into the later regions in the game. And it starts to feel like that with Elden Ring too. The more you advance through the game, you would think that you're seeing more of a variety of enemies when you're really kind of fighting the same stuff. The catacombs are kind of similar. Every time you go into them, it's the same enemies in them. When you go inside of the caves, they're pretty similar. So although it is a good game, it's fun. I've been enjoying it. I'm not tripping in this, I'm not on that side of the spectrum where it's like, man, this is the worst game I've ever played. This game is dumb. There are a lot of inconvenient things about this game. But how I look at it is, I can't walk into McDonald's and expect to not get fast food. And although I've never played one of these From Software games, I can't expect them to not be who they are. So if their games are supposed to be challenging, then you have to accept the challenge. If their games can be improved, though, then that's fair enough criticism. As far as quality of life things, like fighting that horse tree dude, he can cut the trees down at his whim, but I can't cut the trees down, even though, with strength, you would think if you're putting enough points in strength, for example, that's one of the stats in the game. With enough strength, you should have the ability to start chopping down trees and affect the environment as well. Other things like boss moves being able to spam through the environment while yours have to pay the cost of the environment. So if a game is supposed to be fair, then let the game be fair. Like, a lot of these bosses, they'll just like glitch spam moves because you're in a certain area and they're trying to reset themselves. That's not challenging. That's just nonsense. And there's a lot of times like that. Even with that, there's like a thing that you fight and it spends the whole time like swirling around the whole screen. Like, it's strange and it's hella glitchy and it's designed to be that way. But that's not a challenging boss fight. That's just a lot of mess that you have to deal with. So all in all, Elden Ring has been fine. You clear Stormvale Castle and you can see that, it's a whole world out there. But sometimes in these open worlds, it can feel like they're just chore responsibilities. And just because it's not written on a list of activities a la Assassin's Creed or The Witcher, it doesn't mean that the game isn't full with chore type activities when the rewards for the effort start to pay off less and less. As you start to be able to acquire things and buy them, it means less to go out and, farm them or, hunt them down. So the incentive to the bosses aren't really there as much towards, once you start to get yourself together. But overall, again, I've enjoyed the experience. I mean, it's kind of humbling playing a game where you're expected to lose and you're expected to lose a lot. But it's not about just getting beat down. It's about learning from the experience. And hopefully you come back, make your sword a little stronger, make your armor a little better or whatever. But all in all, it's a pretty cool game.